Today I was out. It was a lovely Sunday. And I was speaking with someone and remarking how wonderful it was to see so many grandparents out with their grandchildren. It was, beautiful. And one thing that came from me, like organically, it just kind of, came out. I thought, and I said, I bet the parents are like, yes, I'm glad to get a day off before work, take some me time while the grandparents spoil the grandchildren. And so I thought about that and I was like, well, it's actually not spoiling, it's just giving them the proper love and respect that they deserve from everyone all the time. And the person I was with was like, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, why is that spoiling? It's not. It's really not spoiling children when you give them an abundance of love, all that you can give them. Um, and whether that's through acts of love and kindness, a treat that they would love to eat or a toy that, maybe not an everyday purchase, a little splurge. Love is never wrong. So if you want to splurge or indulge your children or your grandchildren, that's not really going to make them bad or spoil them or turn them into being ungrateful. Someone who is ungrateful doesn't learn to be that way or develop that kind of characteristic because they've been given so much. That's a misconception that comes from other things, and I'll get into that in another video. But just let it suffice to say that the more love you give, the better the outcome. I used to be a social worker, and children that were under cherished, under loved, neglected, turn out to have a lot of issues, from that. So it's like if you don't give enough love, yeah, there can be harm. But if you give an abundance of love, that's not going to harm a child. That's going to enhance their experience in life. It's going to make them more likely to become loving citizens of the world because they were loved. So they will give love. And it's never too much. It's never too much to tell them and to get to not just acts of love, but verbally. You know, how many times a day can you tell them, I love you? And in so many words, that gentle touch, that, assurance. One thing I could not, really tolerate to see, and I really didn't like to see it, on the playground or when my kids were younger, being amongst, wherever kids would be, hanging out or playing. And then you see parents try to stand back and wait to see if the child can figure it out by themselves. I'm not saying like, okay, a few seconds, let me give you your autonomy, your empowering skills. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the whole thing of, well, you got to figure it out. I'm not going to do it for you. The negativity, that's what I'm trying to get to. It never helps. It's never going to be helpful. All it will do is result in your child feeling ashamed or guilty when it's only a learning experience to tie my shoes or zip up my coat or whatever it is that you have to do outside. I just feel like so much time is invested in making sure that we don't love them instead of, just go ahead and be natural and loving. And if you weren't loved and you don't know how to love, then please learn how to love before you become a parent. If you're already a parent, invest time into searching yourself, loving yourself, because that's where it starts. And once you cultivate that love within yourself and you treat your inner child with respect and care, you'll start to respect and care for other children. So, yeah, I just really, really think that we would be so much better off if all of these adults that are around starting wars or being corrupt or living these lifestyles of, um, you know, at best disrespectful, at worst, we know what that is. I think that if they were loved, that wouldn't be. So I keep hearkening back to love. It just seems like that's the beginning and the end of everything that would really set things aright in the world. So start with yourself, start with your children, love yourself to no end, love your children unabashedly, unashamedly, and whoever calls you out on it, they're the ones that should be ashamed, not you. You're not the one that should feel like you need to hold back your love or um, kind of like hide your love for your children. No, show them how to love theirs. Um, Love their children. I've done that. I've been someone who's been so loving around other people's children, especially before I had my own, that they would feel like, oh, wow, why is she? It kind of like threw them off. Like, why are you being that way? No, I'm not weird. No, I'm not strange. I'm just a loving human being who believes that children, everyone deserves to be loved, but especially children because they are finding their way in this world. And gentleness goes a long way. Be gentle, don't be harsh. Life is going to teach you, so I'm going to teach you first. That really doesn't even make any sense at all. Because you shouldn't even be projecting that kind of future where they're going to run into a lot of um, you know, hard times. But even if they did, it's even more reason to give them a soft, gentle, loving foundation. That's even more reason so that they can come from a place where they were secure at one point while they kind of navigate troubled waters or, rough terrain. So no matter how you slice it, no matter how you try to look at it from any perspective, there can never be a wrong. I'm sorry, there can never be a situation where loving is the wrong thing to do. So, what else regarding this love issue and parenting and grandparents? Yeah, and grandparents, if the children, there's this other aspect of, well, when I was a child, you didn't do this for me, or you didn't let me get away with that, or you didn't treat me, it's like they kind of are competing at that point with their own child. So you might want to call them out on that because that is an ego showing up where, it's not about you right now, Jessica or Janie. It is about, we know better now. So we're going to do better now. I can't go back and do things, for you the right way, but I can do better for your child. And why wouldn't you want that? So just turn that around. End of argument, because I do see a lot of parents do that. They try to stop the grandparents. Oh, you didn't do this for me. And you learn from my mistakes. One up me. that's, if that's what you want, take that win. But never let anyone tell you that it's wrong to love your grandchildren or your children as much as you want to. So, with that, I will leave you until next time to come back and talk about something else regarding love. It's always going to be about love and just having a new perspective and having a different, brave way of being based on love. So, I'll see you next time.